Contestant number 11, Sanskriti Acharya. Power, Sanskriti Acharya.
I must have been around 5 years old. I was at my uncle's house, and I accidentally stumbled across his room, and there he was, shirt off, music blaring at the background, all sweaty. He had this dumbbell in his hand, and he goes, 5, 6, 7. And I looked at him, and his face looked absolutely constipated. Now, at that time, I was very curious because you see, my father never really lifted one of these dumbbells. Neither did my mother. So out of sheer curiosity, I asked him, Uncle, what are you even doing? He placed this dumbbell down, sat down, said, sweetheart, come here. You see this? This is power, and this will take you everywhere. I thought, oh, and suddenly, that 5-year-old tender brain of mine quickly soaked in that information. To me, biceps, power, triceps, power, veins popping out of your muscles, unquestionable power. I thought, but little did I know, different walks of life unleashes different realities. So soon after this incident happened, weeks later, let's say, one of the biggest nightmares to any toddlers happened to me, turned into reality. My first day of school. And there I went. And I remember my teacher blatantly said, kids, remember to pay well attention because you see, knowledge is power and this will take you everywhere. And guess what? When I started to grow up, layers of definition started to press against me. You walked up to business people, they would say money is power. Politicians would go politics is power. Some would say control is power, and eventually there were hundreds and thousands of voices lingering around my head. That said, in order to feel powerful, you need to walk better, earn better, look better, be louder, be quieter, be everything but yourself. And at that point, you think I did not try to fit into every single spectrum? Of course I did. They said knowledge is power. I was at the top of my class. Did I feel powerful? Absolutely not. They said control is power. I was elected the class prefect. I had control over all the 5-year-old kids. Did I feel powerful? Absolutely not. They said money is power. I'm still broke, so let's not talk about it. But let's go to my uncle. He said muscles is power. Let's not talk about it either. But see, I tried to fit into every possible spectrum, but I failed, and I thought that maybe, just maybe, God gifted every single human being with a superhero cape except for me. And every night I went to sleep feeling absolutely powerless. Until one day, something happened. I was just 10 years old. We had this beautiful Children's Day program organized in our school. After the event finished, we were escorted back to our classrooms. I went to my class. When I barged in, I find 2 of my friends, girls, who were from different sections, bawling their eyes out. So out of concern, I went up to them and said, "What's wrong?" They answered, "While we were having so much of fun downstairs, one of our teachers had come to them, and in the name of extra classes, he had asked them to come along with him and threatened that if they don't, they would fail their midterms. And unfortunately, they went upstairs. Behind the closed doors for a whole hour in a classroom without no CCTV cameras installed, they were being touched inappropriately all the time. And guess what? That was definitely not the first time that we had heard such stories about that man. There were hundreds and thousands of such stories. But when I heard them, I thought enough is enough. And I straight off ran to the coordinator and I told her, "Ma'am, this has been happening and we need your help." She said, "Fine, Miss Acharya, please go back to your classroom and relax." I went. Now raise your hands if you think Miss Acharya got justice. Yes, I did not. Minutes later, the same pedophile, he walks into the classroom, in fact, storms inside, grabs me by my hand, pulls me outside, takes me upstairs in a silent, abandoned, empty space, pins me against the wall, and he goes, "One more word against me, Miss Acharya, and you will bear the consequences." And just when I thought he's done, he started to look straight into my eyes and started to appear closer. At that time, my mind stopped. My heart completely froze. But something inside of me definitely rose. No, it wasn't muscles. It wasn't money. It wasn't fame. It wasn't beauty. It was something. It was me. It was finally power. And with all the strength I had, I pushed him away. I went up to in the middle of the building and screamed at the top of my lungs for help because I did not know whom to trust. The teachers came. I finally told them the truth. Thankfully, they believed me. And minutes later, he was kicked out of that school. That incident was his last day of power. That was suppression. But to me, it was my first day of power. That was realization. Remember the dumbbell that I first started with? All these years, I was busy lifting other people's strengths, other people's definitions, trying to fit into the spectrum. But that moment, that incident made me realize that it was finally time to let go of it, look into myself, and rebuild and find my own strength. And I did that, so should you. Let go of the weights that are trying to weigh you down. Craft your own strength. Look into you because you are power. Go on to share.